The night over Manhattan was loud even before the sky broke. Sirens echoed between towers. Traffic crawled like it always did. A news helicopter hovered near the river, its spotlight sweeping the rooftops. People were still out. It was a normal city doing normal things. Then the air above Midtown turned white. Not lightning, not a flare. A clean, bright line opened in the sky like a cut. It widened without sound. For half a second, the stars behind it looked wrong, like the whole was showing a different place. Every phone on every street lifted at once. A shape dropped out of the light. At first it looked like a meteor, a burning stone. It fell fast, trailing fire. A child pointed and shouted something that became a scream. The falling thing did not hit the ground. It stopped. It stopped in midair, maybe 50 feet above a crowded avenue, as if the world had suddenly decided gravity was optional. The fire peeled away like smoke. The meteor was not a rock at all. It was a person, a man, broad-shouldered, wearing something that looked like a dark suit that had been torn by heat. His cape, no, not a cape, a ripped blanket of red cloth, fluttered behind him like it still believed in wind. His eyes opened. They were calm, but not relaxed. The look was focused, like someone waking up in the middle of an emergency and already knowing what mattered. Below him, people ran in every direction. A bus swerved to avoid a panicked crowd. Its wheels caught the edge of a broken street plate that had been damaged by the sky split. The heavy vehicle tipped. It was going to fall onto the sidewalk. The man moved. There was no build-up, no struggle. He was there. Then he was not there. Then he was under the bus, with one hand braced against the metal like it weighed nothing at all. He pushed. The bus rolled back onto its wheels with a jolt. The passengers inside slammed into their seats, alive and shocked, but alive. The man lifted the front of the bus just enough to steady it. His other hand reached through a shattered window and pulled a crying teenager out by the shoulders, gentle as if he was picking up a kitten. He set the teen down. He stepped in front of the crowd like a wall. A chunk of debris fell from a high floor where glass had burst. The man looked up. His head turned slightly, like he was listening to something no one else could hear. Then he shot upward. He caught the debris above the street. It was a slab of metal and glass the size of a small car. He caught it with both hands, slowed it, and carried it over the rooftops in a blur. He placed it down on an empty block where no one stood. Then he was back on the street. To the crowd, it was like he had blinked out and back in. A fresh wave of screams rose when the sky crackled again. A ring of strange light spread out in the air, and with it came a shockwave that rattled windows. Small drones, black and sharp, poured out of the torn sky like insects. They were not the friendly kind. Their red sensors snapped onto moving targets. 2 of them fired. The blasts hit the street and burst into hot sparks, cutting a deep groove in the asphalt. People stumbled. A woman fell. A man tripped over her trying to help. The newcomer's face tightened. He did not shout. He did not posture. He simply acted. He stepped into the path of the next blast and took it in the chest. The beam hit him, flared, and died like it had struck a mountain. The drones adjusted and fired again. He lifted a palm. The air in front of his hand shimmered as the blast struck and scattered, like rain hitting a strong window. He took off. He moved through the air so fast that the drones could not track him. He flicked their wings, their joints, their weapons. He did not crush them. He did not tear them in half. He broke their tools. One by one they fell, tumbling down the avenues like dead metal birds. A few drones tried to climb higher, away from him. His eyes flashed. Thin red lines cut through the night, precise and controlled. The beams clipped the drone's engines without touching the nearby buildings. Each drone jerked, sputtered, and dropped. People stared. Some cheered. Some cried. Some backed away like a wild animal had wandered into their street. A different sound rose above the crowd now. Not sirens. A wingbeat. Captain America, Sam Wilson, came in low, his wings catching the streetlights. He landed hard, shield up, eyes scanning. Ant-Man, Scott Lang, arrived a half-second later, out of breath, looking up as if the sky itself had offended him. Sam saw the drones falling. He saw the torn street. He saw the stranger standing in the middle of it all, like he belonged there. Sam's voice cut through the panic. "Everyone move back! Keep moving! Stay behind the cars!" Scott pointed up at the last drone. "Okay, so that one's not ours. That one is definitely not ours." The newcomer turned his head toward them. For the first time, his expression softened. He looked relieved to see uniforms and a familiar kind of readiness. He took one careful step closer, hands open at his sides. "Not a threat. Not hiding. I'm not here to hurt anyone," he said. His voice was steady. It carried, even with the city noise. Sam did not lower his shield. He did not rush forward either. He kept his stance in the middle, ready to protect, ready to talk. "Then who are you?" Sam asked. The newcomer opened his mouth to answer. The sky cut widened again. A deeper light pushed through, not white this time. Green and gold symbols rotated in the air like a moving lock. The air smelled sharp, like metal and ozone. Scott's eyes went wide. "Oh no, that's the fancy kind of weird." Something heavy dropped out of the symbols. Not a person, a machine the size of a truck, shaped like a beetle with thick armor. It hit the street and cracked the pavement. Its head lifted. A red beam charged in its mouth. Sam raised his shield. The newcomer's jaw set. "Get them back," he told Sam, quick and clear. "Now!" Before Sam could answer, the newcomer launched forward and met the machine head-on. Across the ocean, inside a quiet room lit by cold screens, a man in metal armor watched the live feed. Dr. Doom's mask did not show emotion. His voice did. Soft. Certain. "That," Doom said as the stranger slammed the giant machine backward like it weighed nothing, "is not from our world." And Doom smiled under steel. The building they chose was not labeled on any map. From the street, it looked like a normal tower. Clean glass and simple lines. The kind of place people walked past without thinking. But inside, it was layers of security and calm. Doors that scanned more than faces. Hallways that listened. Lights that shifted to follow the people who were allowed to be there. Sam flew ahead with the stranger close behind, moving through the air above the river to avoid crowds. Scott rode in a quiet transport vehicle, muttering into his comms and asking too many questions. The newcomer answered none of them yet. Not because he was hiding, because he was listening. Sam noticed it when they crossed the water. The man's head turned slightly, then slightly again, like he was hearing the whole city at once and sorting it in his mind. Sam had met gods. He had fought aliens. He had watched the sky open before. But this felt different. This felt like standing next to a storm that was choosing to be gentle. They entered a wide lab with bright lights and smooth floors. The smell was clean, like a hospital. The room had platforms and scanners and machines that hummed with quiet power. Reed Richards stood near a console, tall and focused, his eyes sharp behind calm. Shuri was there too, tablet in hand, already scanning as if she had been waiting for something like this her whole life. Sue Storm stood a little back, watching with the kind of calm that meant she was ready to act in a second. Thor leaned against a pillar like it was a chair, arms crossed, a faint grin on his face. Bucky stood in the corner where shadows fell, not because he needed shadows, but because he preferred them. And Loki sat on a stool like he owned it, looking bored and delighted at the same time. The newcomer stepped in and stopped. He took in the room the way a soldier reads a battlefield, where the exits were, where the civilians were, who looked like a leader, who looked like a threat. His gaze paused on Bucky. Bucky's stare did not blink. Sam spoke first. He kept his voice easy, like he was talking to a guest, and not an unknown power. "We got a situation," Sam said. "You saved a lot of people out there. Thank you." The newcomer nodded once. "That's what you do." Reed's eyes flicked over the torn suit, the burn marks, the strange fabric. "You fell through a tear in the sky," Reed said. Not a question, a fact. The newcomer looked at Reed. "Yes." Shuri stepped closer, polite but not shy. "We need to make sure you're not injured. Also, we need to know what kind of energy did that to you. You understand?" The newcomer's shoulders loosened just a little. "I understand." Bucky's voice came out low. and we need to know what you can do." Sam shot Bucky a look, not angry, just a warning. The newcomer did not flinch. He looked at Bucky like he had heard that kind of fear before. "I can do a lot," he said, "but I choose what I do." Thor laughed softly. "A warrior who speaks of choice. Good." Loki tilted his head. "So noble, so careful. Tell me, stranger, do you also have a weakness? Or is this where we all pretend you are perfect?" The newcomer's eyes moved to Loki. There was no anger in them, but there was something firm. "Everyone has a weakness," he said. "Even you." Loki smiled wider, like he had been given a gift. Reed tapped a screen. "We'll start with simple scans," he said. "No restraints, no pain. If you don't want to continue, you say so and we stop." Sue's voice was steady. "We're not trying to trap you." Bucky's expression said he still might. The newcomer took a slow breath. He nodded. "Okay." He stepped onto the platform. A ring of light passed over him, then another. Numbers slid across Reed's screens. Shuri's tablet pinged with readings she had never seen. Reed's calm face did not crack, but his eyes sharpened. "Your cells are storing solar energy," Reed said. "Not like photosynthesis. Not like anything we've cataloged. It's like you're a battery that charges in sunlight." Shuri's fingers moved fast. "And your bone density. Your muscle structure. It's not just strong. This is designed. Like your body is built for stress." Thor leaned in, sniffed once, then leaned back. "He smells like a star," Thor said, as if that explained everything. Scott blinked. "Okay, Thor, that's a weird sentence even for you." The newcomer looked down at his own hands like he was remembering something. "The sun gives me energy," he said quietly. "It always has." Reed's voice stayed careful. "So you're not human." The room went still for a beat. Sam watched the newcomer's face. He saw a small flicker of sadness, quick, controlled, like a memory he carried but didn't show often. "I live like one," the newcomer said. "But no, I was not born on this planet." Bucky shifted his weight, the metal in his arm faintly clicking. "And you landed here by accident," Bucky said. The newcomer met Bucky's stare again. "Yes." Loki swung his feet a little. "Accidents are very interesting," he said. "They make such lovely disasters." Sam took a step closer to the platform, putting himself in the space between the newcomer and the sharpest eyes in the room. "What do we call you?" Sam asked. "You didn't get to finish back there." The newcomer opened his mouth. A loud, cheerful beep cut him off. Shuri glanced at her tablet. "Before names," she said, "there is a procedure." Scott groaned. "Oh my God. I knew it. It's paperwork. Even in the end of the world, it's paperwork." Shuri's lips twitched. "In my world, we call it basic safety." Reed nodded. "We need a record for the system, a temporary identity, just for internal access. Otherwise, doors won't open for you." The newcomer looked at the nearest door, like he could solve it by lifting it off its hinges. Then he looked back at Sam. "I can open doors," he said. Sam held up both hands. "Please don't. Reed will have a heart attack." Reed did not deny this. Sue stepped closer, her tone softer. "It's not about control. It's about knowing who is inside the building. Everyone here does this." The newcomer hesitated, not because he was afraid, because he wanted to do things the right way. "Fine," he said. "What do you need?" Shuri held out a small device like a microphone. "Name." The newcomer's eyes dipped for a moment, like he was choosing which truth to lead with. "My name is Cal," he started. Another beep. Another screen. Reed's eyes flicked to an alert. "That's not from this room," Reed said. Everyone turned. A new display lit up above the main console. It showed the sky over Manhattan from a satellite view. The tear had closed, but the air around the area still glowed faintly. And there was a second signal now. Not in Manhattan. Somewhere else. A point of light had appeared far outside the city, like a beacon that had just been switched on. Shuri's voice tightened. "That is not normal." Thor stood upright, hand moving toward his weapon. "Then we go." Reed's face stayed controlled, but his eyes moved fast. "It's like an echo," he said. Something answered the tear. Something noticed. Bucky's voice was flat. "Someone noticed." Sam looked at the newcomer. "Can you track it?" The newcomer's head tilted slightly. His eyes narrowed. He listened. Not to machines, not to screens, to the world. His face changed. It became harder, more focused. "Yes," he said, "and it's moving." Scott raised a finger. "Okay, quick question. Why does everything new in my life always start with, 'It's moving'?" Loki stood too, smiling like he was about to enjoy himself. "Because you are cursed," Loki said. Sue's eyes stayed on the newcomer. "You were about to say your name," she reminded him, gentle but firm. "I think it matters." The newcomer took a breath. He looked at Sam first. Then he looked at the others. "My name is Kal-El," he said. "I was raised here, on a different Earth. I live as Clark Kent." Bucky's brows tightened. "Clark Kent," he repeated like he was tasting the words for poison. "And people call me." The newcomer paused. He didn't like titles. Not really. He liked actions. But he understood that people needed something to hold on to. "Superman," he finished. Thor's grin returned. "A good name." Scott mouthed it silently. "Superman," he whispered, like he was trying to make his brain accept it. Reed typed it in without comment, but his fingers slowed for half a second, like the name carried weight. Shuri lifted her chin. "Temporary access granted," she said, and a small light on the door turned green. "Welcome, Superman. Please do not fly through the ceilings." Superman blinked. "I don't." Scott pointed at the ceiling. "Please don't," he begged. "We just got the deposit back on the last place." Sam gave Superman a small nod. "All right," Sam said. "You want to help people. We want to help people. Let's start there." Bucky's voice cut in. "And if helping people means you decide you know better than everyone else?" Superman looked at him. There was no anger. There was a quiet kind of honesty. "Then you stop me," Superman said simply. The room went silent again, but this time it was a different kind of silence. Not fear, not trust. A hard, serious space between them that could become either, depending on what happened next. Reed broke it. "We move as a group," Reed said. "We observe. We don't provoke. We don't let whatever that is get close to civilians." Superman nodded. "Agreed." Loki's smile faded into something thoughtful. "Interesting," he murmured, almost to himself. As they moved toward the exit, Sam matched steps with Superman. Sam kept his voice low, so only Superman could hear. "Just so you know," Sam said, "this world, it doesn't do well with surprises." Superman's eyes tracked the blinking red dot on the screen again. "Neither does mine," he said. Then the lights in the hallway flickered once, like the building itself had shivered. And somewhere far away, the beacon moved faster. The first sign of Doom's plan did not look like a war. It looked like a normal day. The sun rose. People went to work. News anchors argued about the Sky event and the Mystery Man. Video clips played on loop, shaky and blurred, showing a figure catching a bus and standing in the street like he was unbreakable. Some people called him a guardian. Some called him a threat. On a rooftop in Brooklyn, a teenager held a phone up and whispered, "That's Superman," like he was saying a prayer. In a quiet room across the world, Dr. Doom watched every clip with perfect patience. He did not rush. Doom never rushed. He waited until the world had just enough fear to be useful. Then he moved. The target was not a bank, not a missile silo. It was a research site near the edge of the city, built to look boring on purpose. A low, wide structure with smooth walls and zero signs. Inside, there was a device Reed and Shuri had been studying for weeks. A piece of tech recovered from a cosmic event months ago. They did not fully understand it yet, but they knew one thing. It could open doors that should never open. They had locked it behind layers of force fields, codes, and sensors. They had placed it near medical support too, because the device gave off strange waves that could make people dizzy if they stood too close for too long. They were careful. Doom was more careful. Sam stood in the main security corridor, listening to Reed explain the latest readings. Scott hovered nearby, pretending not to be nervous. Failing. Thor was there because Thor hated staying home when something was moving. Sue was on the upper level, watching through a glass wall, ready to throw a barrier over the whole room if needed. Shuri stood at the console, calm and sharp. Bucky stood where he could see the doors and the vents and the ceilings. and Superman stood a step behind Sam, hands loose, cape now replaced by a proper one Shuri had produced with a quiet, "We had fabric," and a look that dared anyone to question Wakandan storage. Superman did not look relaxed. He looked ready, but he also looked careful, like he was trying to keep his power from filling the room. Reed gestured at the device behind the shield. "It's stable," Reed said. "For now." Superman's eyes flicked to it. "It feels wrong," he said. Shuri's head turned. "Feels wrong how?" Superman hesitated, choosing words a fifth grader could understand if they were in the room. "Like a door that is half open," he said, "and something on the other side is pushing." Reed swallowed. "That aligns with the readings," he admitted. Scott lifted a hand. "Okay, cool, love that, hate that." Bucky muttered. "We should move it." Reed shook his head. "Moving it could trigger it." Sam took a breath. "Then we hold," Sam said. "We keep it locked. We keep people safe. And we figure out who made that beacon move last night." A soft chime sounded. Then another. Then the lights dimmed by one step, like someone had lowered the room's heartbeat. Shuri's eyes snapped to her tablet. "Someone is inside our network," she said. Reed's fingers flew over controls. "That's impossible. We're air-gapped." Shuri's jaw tightened. "Then someone is rewriting what impossible means." The ceiling vents opened, not with a crash, not with a blast, with smooth, perfect timing. Black shapes dropped down like rain. Doombots, humanoid machines in green and metal, their faces shaped like a mask. Their eyes glowed red. Their footsteps hit the floor together, like a marching band that had learned how to kill. Sam's shield came up instantly. "Contact!" Sue's voice came through comms, calm but urgent. "More incoming from the east corridor. I'm sealing the upper level." A Doombot raised its arm. A beam fired. Sam blocked it with his shield, the impact ringing like a bell. Thor stepped forward with a grin. "Ah, metal men," he said. "Finally, something simple." He swung. Lightning snapped across the corridor. 2 Doombots flew back into the wall, smoking. More filled the space. Scott slapped his control and shrank, darting under a bot's legs. He grew behind it, grabbed its head, and twisted until wires tore free. "Sorry," he shouted to no one in particular. Bucky moved like a machine that hated machines. He shot joints, not chests. He broke arms, not faces. He used his metal hand like a clamp to tear weapons away. Shuri stayed at the console. She was fighting a different battle, fingers flashing as she tried to lock the network down. "They are using my own protocols," she muttered. "How rude." Reed stretched an arm across the corridor, grabbing 2 Doombots at once and slamming them together. "They're not here to kill us," Reed said, eyes narrowed. "How do you know?" Sam asked as he blocked another beam. Reed pointed with a quick nod toward the shielded room. "They're moving around us. They're moving toward the device." Sue's voice sharpened. "Then they're not getting it." Superman hadn't moved yet. Not because he couldn't, because he was watching the pattern. His eyes tracked the Doombots. The timing, the way they did not panic when Thor hit them, the way they adjusted when Sam moved his shield, the way they avoided Superman's line of sight, like they already knew what he could do. Bucky saw Superman's stillness and snapped, "Well?" Superman answered by disappearing. One moment, he was behind Sam. The next, he was in the center of the corridor. He moved through the Doombots like a windstorm with hands. He didn't smash them into paste. He didn't rip them apart for fun. He struck pressure points on machines. He snapped weapons. He tore cables. He used the edge of his palm to cut through armor without cutting through what was behind it. In 3 seconds, 8 bots dropped. Scott, still tiny, looked up from the floor and whispered, "That is unfair." A Doombot fired a net of crackling energy at Superman. Superman caught it, not with his hands, with his eyes. Heat vision flared, thin and exact. The net's energy nodes burst one by one. The web fell apart in the air like broken string. The remaining bots shifted. They stopped trying to shoot him. They threw something else. Small canisters hit the ground and released a thick, greenish smoke that spread fast. The air stung. Superman's head snapped back, surprised for the first time. Not pain, something else. His body reacted like the air had become heavy. He took a half step, then steadied himself. Bucky saw it. Bucky always saw weakness. "What was that?" Bucky demanded. Reed's eyes widened as his sensor spiked. "It's not poison," Reed said quickly. "It's radiation. Not lethal. But it's tuned." Shuri's voice turned cold. "They tuned it to him." Superman's jaw tightened. He breathed through it, pushing his lungs to filter, but his muscles felt thick for a second, like he was moving through mud. Sam's eyes widened, fear slipping in. "You okay?" Superman nodded once, stubborn. "I'm fine." But Doom had learned something, and Doom used that second. A Doombot slid past Thor's swing, not toward Thor, but toward the shielded room. It carried a device in its hands like a key. Sue's force field snapped down over the corridor entrance, blocking 3 bots. But the one with the key was already inside. Reed stretched for it. The Doombot's body shifted, folding and compressing like it was made of liquid metal. Reed's hand grabbed only air. Scott tried to tackle it in giant form. The bot rolled under him. Sam sprinted. Shield raised. Superman moved too, even with the heavy feeling still clinging to him. He was there in an instant, between the Doombot and the door. He grabbed the bot by the chest plate. The bot didn't fight him. It smiled. Not like a person, like a program. Symbols flared around its body. Green and gold runes, turning in the air in a tight circle. Not tech. Not fully. Magic. Superman's grip tightened. He tried to crush the bot's core. The runes sparked. His hand stopped. Not because he was weak, because the rules changed. Superman's eyes narrowed. "Magic," he muttered, understanding in his voice, and a hint of annoyance that it existed here too. The runes pulled at him like chains made of light. They wrapped around his arms and chest, not cutting him, not burning him, but holding him in place with a force that didn't care how strong his muscles were. Bucky's voice came sharp. "Told you!" Sam shouted, "Sue!" Sue's force field snapped across the runes like a clear wall. For a second, it worked. The runes pressed against her barrier, slowed. Sue gritted her teeth. Her eyes narrowed. "It's like it's trying to argue with physics," she said through clenched jaw. Thor slammed his hammer into the floor, lightning roaring. The runes flickered. Superman's eyes flashed red. Heat vision blasted the floor around the bot, carving a trench that forced the bot back. The runes loosened. Superman broke free in a burst of motion. He grabbed the bot again, this time from behind, locking its arms. "Now," he said. Bucky shot the key device out of the bot's hands. Scott shrank, dashed in, and snatched it before it hit the floor. "Mine!" he squeaked. Reed's eyes snapped to the shielded room. Too late. Reed breathed. Inside the shielded chamber, the device behind the force fields pulsed. Not because the Doombots touched it, because someone else did. A voice filled the room, not through speakers, but through the air itself. Smooth and calm and full of control. "Magnificent," the voice said, "to see you stand among them." The Doombots all paused at once, as if listening. Superman's head lifted. His eyes scanned for the source. Shuri's tablet flashed with a single symbol. A stylized mask. Sam's mouth went dry. "Doom," Sam said quietly. The voice continued. "You call him Superman," Doom said, like he was tasting the name. "A strong name. A name people will follow." Bucky growled. "Show yourself." Doom chuckled. "Not yet." In the shielded room, a small panel slid open in the floor. A drone, smaller than the others, rose up, carrying a needle-thin container. It hovered near the device, close enough for sensors to drink in the data. Reed lunged for the control to shut it down. Shuri beat him to it, slamming a command into the system. The force field surged. The drone's container filled anyway. Not with the device's energy, with something else. A faint golden glow that clung to the air where Superman had been standing seconds ago. A sample. Superman's eyes narrowed. He understood what that meant, even if he didn't know the exact science. Doom had taken a piece of him. Superman took off. He didn't fly around. He flew through the building's corridors like a controlled missile, careful not to break walls, but moving fast enough that the air shook. He reached the shielded room as the drone turned to leave. He grabbed it. He crushed it in his palm. The container fell. He caught it gently before it hit the floor. Sue stepped in behind him, force field ready in case it exploded. Superman held the container up, staring at the faint glow inside. "What is this?" Sam asked, arriving behind him. Reed's voice was tight. "Data," he said. "A map, a measurement, the kind of thing Doom turns into a weapon." Shuri's face was hard. "He didn't come for the device," she said. "Not fully. He came for understanding." Bucky stepped close, eyes on Superman. "He came for you." The greenish smoke still lingered in the corridor. Superman could feel it, like sand in the gears of his body, even if it wasn't stopping him anymore. Superman closed his fist around the container, and then opened it again, as if reminding himself not to crush everything that scared him. He looked at Sam. "He used magic," Superman said, "and something tuned to my body." Thor's laugh was not happy. "A foe who prepares," Thor said. "Good. I grow bored of fools." Scott pointed at the broken bots scattered everywhere. "Can we all agree Doom is a very serious person with a very serious hobby?" Loki's voice came from the doorway, soft, amused. "Oh yes," Loki said. "He's building a story where he wins, and now our new friend is the biggest chapter." Sam took a breath. He looked at the room, at the damage, at the contained device that had pulsed like a heartbeat under attack, at the container in Superman's hand. Then he looked at Superman's face. Superman looked angry, but not reckless. He looked worried, but not lost. He looked like someone who had been praised as a symbol in one world and feared as a weapon in another, and was trying not to become either. Sam spoke carefully. "This was a message," Sam said. Superman nodded once. "Yes." Reed turned to the main display and pulled up the external cameras. The feed showed a distant rooftop camera angle. A green-cloaked figure had stood there for less than a second. Metal face, still as a statue. Then he was gone, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air, like heat above concrete. Shuri's eyes narrowed. "He was here," she said. "In range." Bucky's voice went flat. "He wanted us to know he could be." Sue's hands clenched at her sides. "What does he want?" Loki smiled, but there was no joke in it now. "To rule," Loki said, "and to prove it was the only sensible choice." Superman looked down at the container again. Then he looked up, toward the city beyond the walls. Outside, news helicopters circled. Phones recorded. People shouted. A world that was already tired and scared had just watched someone catch buses and shrug off beams. Now that world would learn there was a man in a mask planning for him. Superman's voice was quiet, but it cut through the noise in the room. "He thinks he can turn me into a tool," Superman said. Sam stepped closer. "Can he?" Superman's eyes met Sam's. "No," Superman said. Bucky crossed his arms. "That's what everyone says." Superman didn't look at Bucky this time. He looked at everyone. "I'm not here to be worshipped," he said. "And I'm not here to be used." He paused, choosing each word like it mattered. "I'm here to stop people like him," Superman finished. Reed's screens flashed again. A new alert. A new signal. Not the beacon from last night. Something else. A wave moving outward, like a test pulse sent into the world. Shuri's face drained of humor. "He just pushed something," she said. "A system-wide probe." Reed swallowed. "He's looking for a response," Reed said. "He's mapping our defenses." Thor lifted his weapon. Lightning crackled faintly, eager. "Then we answer," Thor said. Sam glanced at Superman, then at the others. "Everyone," Sam said, voice steady, leader voice now. "We don't chase Doom into his game blind. We protect people. We hold the line. We plan." Bucky scoffed softly. "Plan," he repeated. Reed's eyes flicked to Superman. "We need to know what you can do," Reed said. "All of it. Not because we don't trust you, because Doom is already building a counter." Superman nodded. "You'll know," he said, "but not to hurt me." Shuri lifted her tablet. "And we need rules," she added, "like sealing rules." Scott raised his hand. "Yes, sealing rules." Superman blinked, confused for half a second. Sam almost smiled, then remembered the alarm on the screen. The probe wave kept spreading. Somewhere out there, Doom was watching how fast they moved, how they spoke, how they argued. And Doom had just learned the most important thing. Superman could be stopped by more than strength, which meant Doom would not try to beat him in a fistfight. He would try to beat him in choices. Outside, the city lights kept shining. Inside, the Avengers and their allies stood around an empty chamber and a stolen sample. And the world now had a new kind of danger. Not the danger of a monster that wanted to eat it. The danger of a genius who wanted to own it. And a hero from another Earth, standing in the middle, refusing to become either a king or a weapon, even as the pressure rose. The next morning, the city did what it always did after something impossible happened. It argued. Sam Wilson watched it from a small conference room with a wall of screens. The volume was down, but the captions were enough. Alien invader ran across one channel. New hero saves dozens ran across another. A third one played the same shaky clip again and again. A man in blue and red catching a bus like it was a backpack, then standing still while energy blasts hit him and did nothing. Sam kept his face steady. Inside, he felt the weight of 1,000 eyes. On the table in front of him were printed documents. Not one, not two, a stack. He flipped the top page. It was a formal request from a government office, filled with words that tried to sound calm. Temporary registration of extraterrestrial enhanced individual. Sam exhaled through his nose. They really can't help themselves. Across from him, Reed Richards was already marking parts of the page with a pen. He looked like a man trying to keep a dam from cracking. "This is predictable," Reed said. "They want a box to put him in. People want safety," Sue Storm replied softly. She stood near the window, arms folded, eyes on the city. Sometimes they confuse a box with safety. Bucky Barnes sat in the corner with his back to the wall. He didn't touch the paperwork. He didn't need to. His mind was already filling in the blank spaces. "It's not just paperwork," Bucky said. "It's a leash." Scott Lang leaned over the stack and squinted. "Is there a line where he has to check yes or no for laser eyes? Because I feel like that should be a multiple choice question." Shuri didn't look up from her tablet. "There is also a line asking if he has projectile breath." Scott blinked. "Okay, that's fair. People are scared. But also, projectile breath?" Thor stood with his arms crossed, looking at the screens like the whole debate bored him. "In my experience," Thor said, "mortals always try to put rules on storms." Sam's jaw tightened. "He's not a storm." Bucky's eyes flicked to Sam. "He's a person," Bucky corrected. "And that's the problem. A storm doesn't choose." Sam didn't answer right away. He looked at the screens again. One anchor had invited a panel of experts. None of them were experts. They were loud. Sam muttered, "This is going to get people hurt." Reed's tone stayed calm, but it had an edge now. "It already could," Reed said. He tapped his pen against the table. "Doom doesn't need to beat Superman. He just needs to turn the world into a minefield around him." Sue nodded once. "He'll use civilians." Shuri's fingers moved faster. "And media." Scott pointed at the screen. "Oh, media is already doing it for him." Sam's comms buzzed. He lifted it to his ear. A voice came through. "Tight. Busy. Captain America? We have a situation at the front gate." Sam stood. "What kind?" The reply came fast. "Press and a delegation." Sam's shoulders dropped a fraction. "Of course." He glanced at Reed, Sue, and the others. "Stay ready," he said, "but keep it calm." Bucky stood too. Like calm was not an option, but readiness always was. They moved through the facility in a tight group, footsteps echoing in the clean hallway. Halfway there, Scott leaned towards Sam and whispered, "Just so you know, if they ask me to sign a form promising not to grow into a building again, I can't promise anything." Sam didn't smile, but he almost did. "Try," he said. Scott shrugged. "I'll sign with my left hand." Shuri shot him a look without turning her head. "You will sign with your mouth closed." Scott held up both hands in surrender. At the front gate, the delegation stood under a row of lights, with cameras pointed at them like weapons. Men in suits, women with stern faces, a few security personnel, and dozens of reporters, microphones, phones, drones hovering like insects. Sam stepped into view. The noise surged. Questions slammed into the air. "Captain America, Is the alien in your custody? Is he registered? Can he be stopped? Is he with the Avengers or against them? Sam lifted both hands. He didn't shout. He didn't have to. His voice carried when it needed to. We are handling the situation, Sam said clearly. People were saved last night because of teamwork. That's still the plan. A suit stepped forward. Captain Wilson, the man said, voice smooth. We have authority. Sam cut him off. You have a job, Sam said. So do I. You don't walk into my house and demand my keys. The reporters gasped like they loved a fight. The suit's smile tightened. The public deserves assurances. Sam's eyes narrowed. The public deserves truth, he said, not fear dressed up like a form. Behind Sam, a door slid open, and Superman walked out. The noise didn't just rise. It changed. It turned sharp. A hush fell first, like everyone forgot how to breathe. Then every camera pivoted at once. Superman wore his suit now, clean and whole. The cape settled behind him. The symbol on his chest was bright against the night blue fabric. He looked calm. He also looked tired, in a way most people wouldn't notice. His eyes were steady, but there was weight behind them. He stopped beside Sam. He didn't take the center. He let Sam stand in front. Sam glanced at him, quietly asking without words, "Are you sure?" Superman gave a small nod. The suit tried to recover control. "You are the individual," he began, choosing words like they were explosive. "We need your full identification and origin for the record." Superman looked at the man. His voice was even. "I'm here to help," he said. "I will answer questions that keep people safe. I will not sign away my freedom." A reporter shouted, "Are you dangerous?" Superman turned his head toward the crowd. He didn't glare. He didn't posture. He spoke like he was talking to a scared kid. "I can be dangerous," he said. "That's why I choose not to be." Another reporter yelled, "What do we call you?" Sam's mouth tightened. He already knew this would spiral. Superman answered anyway. "People call me Superman," he said. The name hit the crowd like a spark. Some faces lit up with hope. Some faces twisted with fear. A third group looked like they had just found a new thing to blame for everything. The suit tried again. "Superman," he said, as if the word itself was a problem. "We require—" A new sound cut through the moment. A high, thin beep. Shuri's voice snapped in Sam's ear through comms. "Incoming broadcast, not ours. It's hijacking multiple channels." Sam's eyes flicked up. Every reporter's phone screen changed at once. Every hovering drone camera adjusted. Even the facility's own monitors near the gate flashed. A single image filled them all. A metal mask. Green cloak. Dr. Doom. The broadcast was crystal clear. Like Doom was sitting in the room with them. Doom's voice flowed out, calm and rich with confidence. "People of this world," Doom said, "you have witnessed a miracle." Sam's stomach dropped. Bucky's hand tightened into a fist. Superman's eyes narrowed, not in fear, but in focus. Doom continued, "A being of unimaginable power has arrived in your skies. Some will call him a savior. Some will call him a threat. I call him a question." The suit turned pale. Reporters forgot to breathe. Doom's mask faced forward as if staring straight at Superman. "I have seen him," Doom said. "I have measured him, and I have learned what the Avengers will not tell you." Sam whispered, "He's lying." Doom's voice didn't change. "He is not human. He is not bound by your laws. He is not accountable to your leaders." Superman took one step forward, as if he might speak back through the screen. Sam touched his arm lightly. A reminder. Don't give Doom the scene. Doom's voice softened, almost friendly. "This is not an insult. It is a fact. And facts require solutions." Shuri's voice came again, tight. "He's routing through satellites. He's showing he can do it whenever he wants." Doom continued, "The Avengers will ask you to trust them. They will ask you to trust him. Trust is a lovely thing." He paused, like he was smiling behind the mask. "And trust is often how the weak get hurt." A reporter shouted, "Who are you?" Doom didn't answer. He didn't need to. He wanted the fear to fill in his name. He went on, "I offer you order. Not panic. Not arguments. Not empty symbols." His eyes on the screen seemed to land on Superman again. And to the visitor, "Superman, you wish to help. I believe you. I also believe you will fail. Sam's teeth clenched. Doom's voice turned softer, sharper. Not because you are weak, because you are alone. The broadcast ended. All screens went black. For 1 second there was silence. Then the crowd exploded. Questions. Shouts. Fear. Sam stepped forward, forcing himself to be the calm center. Back up, he called. Everyone back up. This is a secure perimeter. Security moved. Reporters were pushed back, still yelling. The suited delegation looked like they had just been given permission to escalate. And Superman stood still, eyes on the dark screens, jaw tight. Bucky leaned close and spoke low. For Sam and Superman only. He just painted a target on you, Bucky said. Superman's voice was quiet. He wanted to, Superman said, and he wanted me to see it. Sam turned his head, eyes hard. We don't play his game, Sam said. Superman looked at him. He's not asking, Superman said. Later, in a quiet room deep inside the facility, Reed spread data across a wall like it was a crime board. Lines, numbers, maps, footage. Shuri threw a video of the Doombot's green smoke onto the screen. She froze it at the moment Superman's movement slowed. That, Shuri said, tapping the image, is the proof. He made something tuned to his biology. Reed nodded, eyes locked on the graphs. It's not a poison, it's a field effect, like static in the body. Sue's arms were folded. Her voice was steady. So Doom can slow him. Bucky's eyes stayed on Superman, who stood near the window, looking out at the city like he could hear every argument happening at once. Slow him, Bucky said. Hold him. Trap him. Scott raised a finger. But not actually hurt him, right? Because if Doom hurts him, Superman might decide to stop being polite. Superman didn't turn. He answered anyway. I don't lose control, he said. Bucky's mouth twisted. Everyone says that. Superman finally looked back at them. His eyes were clear. I've had power my whole life, he said. I learned to live with it. I learned to say no. He paused, then added, I learned to stop myself. The room held that for a moment. Sam stepped in, voice low. This isn't about you being bad, Sam said. This is about Doom being smart. Reed rubbed his face. He's using the classic approach, Reed said. He's not trying to win the fight. He's trying to win the story. Loki, leaning against a wall like he belonged there, smiled faintly. He wants to make the world beg him, Loki said, and then he will pretend he is doing them a favor. Sue's eyes narrowed. He's already doing it. Sam looked at Superman. What's he offering? Sam asked. Superman's gaze went distant for a second. Control, Superman said. Order. A world where no one gets hurt. Scott let out a long breath. That's a good sales pitch. Shuri snapped her fingers at Scott. Do not say sales pitch. I will throw you. Scott held up both hands. Okay. Offer. Doom offer. Reed's tone stayed calm, but his eyes were sharp. We need a plan that doesn't rely on Superman, Reed said. Not because I doubt him, because Doom is building a counter. Bucky nodded once. Finally, Superman's jaw tightened. A counter that hurts civilians, Superman said. Sam's voice softened. That's why we do this together, Sam said. Reed pointed at a new set of readings. We also need to understand the rules, Reed said. You said magic affected you differently. Superman nodded. Magic doesn't care how strong you are, he said. It's a different kind of lock. Loki's eyes gleamed. Ah, Loki said, pleased. He understands. Shuri swiped through files. We can't copy his weaknesses, she said, but we can predict Doom's style. He uses tech to shape the battlefield, and magic to change what tech can't. Sue took a slow breath. And he uses people, she finished. Sam looked at Superman. And you, Sam said, care about every one of those people. Superman didn't deny it. His voice was quiet. That's not a weakness, he said. It can be, Bucky said. Superman's eyes held Bucky's. Steady. Then I'll carry it anyway, Superman replied. For a second, Bucky had no answer. Reed cleared his throat. There's another issue, Reed said. Governments are going to push for registration, monitoring, containment. Scott groaned. More forms. Shuri's lips twitched. So many forms. Sam leaned back, rubbing his forehead. This is the part where Doom wins without throwing a punch, Sam said. Superman's eyes narrowed. He won't, he said. Sam looked up. How do you stop a villain who wins by talking? Sam asked. Superman paused. He didn't say, by punching him. He said, by telling the truth. Reed's eyes lifted. Truth doesn't always win fast, Reed warned. Superman's voice stayed steady. No, he agreed. But it wins clean. Loki snorted softly. Adorable, Loki murmured. Superman turned his head slightly. I'm not naive, Superman said. I know truth can be twisted, but I also know lies need darkness. He looked at Sam. Doom wants me hidden, Superman said. He wants me to feel trapped. He wants me to strike first so he can point and say, see? Sam nodded slowly. So we don't give him that, Sam said. Bucky's eyes stayed hard. And if he forces it? Reed's fingers tightened on his pen. Then we need options, Reed said. Shuri looked at Superman, direct. Options that don't kill, she said. Superman nodded. I won't let you build a weapon to kill me, he said. But I will work with you on safety, on restraints that stop harm. Bucky's mouth twitched. He's volunteering a leash. Superman shook his head. No, he said. I'm volunteering trust. There's a difference. Sue stepped forward, voice soft but firm. Then we need to protect the trust too, Sue said. Because Doom will try to poison it. As if the universe wanted to prove her right. An alert chimed. Shuri's tablet flashed. Breaking news, she said. Multiple emergency calls. Same pattern. Reed leaned in. Where? Shuri swiped. A map appeared. 3 points blinked. A shelter in Queens. A hospital in Harlem. A bridge traffic jam near the river. Scott's eyebrows rose. That's spread out. Sam's eyes narrowed. That's not random, Sam said. Bucky's voice went cold. It's bait, he said. Superman's head tilted. His eyes unfocused, listening. He went very still. Then he spoke. Low and tight. It's staged, Superman said. I can hear it. Sam's stomach dropped. What do you hear? Superman looked up, eyes hard. People shouting, he said. But the fear isn't real. It's pushed, like someone is telling them when to scream. Loki's smile vanished. Reed's voice turned sharp. Doom is testing response time, Reed said. Sue's eyes narrowed. And he's using places Superman will run to, Sue said. Sam stepped forward. Leader mode. Split teams, Sam said. Sue, you take the hospital. Thor, bridge. Shuri and Reed, stay on comms and trace the coordination. Scott pointed at himself. And me? Sam looked at him. You're with me. Scott puffed up. Yes, wait. Why does that feel like trouble? Sam turned to Superman. And you, Sam said carefully. You go where the most people are at risk, but you do not go alone. Bucky stepped forward immediately. I'm going. Superman's eyes flicked to Bucky. I don't need... Bucky cut him off. I'm not going to protect you, Bucky said. I'm going to watch the angles you don't. Superman stared at him for a second, then nodded once. Fine, he said. Sam looked at Reed. Keep tracking Doom, Sam said. We're done letting him set the pace. Reed's expression was tight. Be careful, Reed said. This is a moral trap. Superman's jaw set. Then we don't step into it, he said. He paused, then added, quiet, almost like it hurt. But we still save them, and that was the real problem. Doom knew he would. Doom sat in a chamber that felt older than the world outside it. Candles burned in iron stands. Screens glowed with modern data. Magic circles were carved into stone. Technology and sorcery lived side by side like they had always belonged. A Doombot knelt before him, its chest open. Inside, a small container pulsed with faint golden light. Doom studied it like a scientist studies a new element. He didn't look excited. He looked satisfied. A man who can move faster than thought, Doom said softly. A man who can lift mountains and still stop to carry a child. He tapped a finger against the container. A man who will not kill, Doom continued, even when it would be easier. Doom leaned back. And a world that will fear him, Doom said. Because fear is simple. He turned his gaze to a new screen. It showed live feeds from the shelter, the hospital, the bridge. He didn't plan to kill thousands. Not yet. He planned to make Superman feel the pressure of thousands. Go, Doom said. His robots moved, not to win a battle, to right a moment, to force a choice. Run, Superman, Doom murmured. Be the hero. Be the symbol. His voice lowered. And then learn what symbols are worth when people decide they no longer want them. The shelter in Queens was chaos by the time Superman arrived. He didn't fly in like a missile. He came down slow enough not to break the air around him, landing in the parking lot where volunteers were trying to keep people calm. He saw the line of families. He saw kids clutching blankets. He saw a volunteer with shaking hands holding a clipboard like it was a shield. He also saw something else. Men in plain clothes standing too still, ears hidden under caps, eyes scanning the crowd, not for danger, but for reactions. Bucky landed a second later, dropping from a transport with a hard step. He immediately moved to the side, eyes on the roof lines. Superman walked forward, hands open. A woman screamed when she saw him, not because he looked scary, because she was told to scream. Superman's eyes flicked to the men in caps. Bucky muttered, "There." Superman didn't confront them. Not yet. He turned to the crowd instead. "Everyone," Superman said loudly, voice steady. "I'm here to help. Please stay back. Give the volunteers space. We're going to make sure no one gets hurt." Some people calmed just from his tone. Then the first explosion hit, not inside the shelter. Across the street, a parked truck burst into flame. The blast pushed heat into the crowd. People surged back. A child fell. Superman moved. He was at the child in a blink, scooping him up and handing him to a volunteer. He looked up. A second blast hit farther away, closer to the line of apartments behind the shelter. Then a third. Not random. A pattern spreading outward, pushing people into panic. Bucky's voice came tight. "They're hurting them." Superman's jaw clenched. "I know." He could stop every small blast in a second. He could also create a bigger disaster if he moved wrong in a crowded place. So he did what he always did. He used control. He shot upward, high enough to see the full area. His eyes scanned for heat sources, wires, triggers. He found them. Small devices hidden under cars, on lampposts, under trash bins. He dropped down again, moving like a blur. He didn't rip them apart with force. He popped them loose with fingertips, snapping circuits with heat vision so fine it didn't scorch paint. One by one, the bombs died. The crowd began to calm. Then Doom's second layer triggered. A group of Doombots rose from the street at the far end of the lot, breaking through asphalt like they had been sleeping beneath it. The crowd screamed again, this time for real. Superman stepped between the bots and the people. Bucky moved to Superman's right, rifle up, eyes locked on joints. Superman spoke without looking at him. "Don't shoot into the crowd." Bucky snapped, "I know." The Doombots didn't fire first. They projected a beam above the crowd that formed a huge image in the air. Doom's mask. His voice boomed across the lot. "Behold," Doom said, "the alien guardian stands among you." Superman's hands curled into fists, then relaxed. He refused to take the bait. Doom continued, "He saves you today. And tomorrow, when you disagree with him, when you fear him, who will stop him then?" People looked up at Superman with wide eyes. Some looked grateful. Some looked terrified. A man shouted, "Are you going to take over?" A woman shouted, "Are you here because of Doom?" Superman kept his voice calm. "No," he said. "I'm here because you're in danger." Doom's voice sharpened. "Then prove it," Doom said. "Choose." The Doombots raised their arms. Not at Superman. At the shelter. A green field snapped into place around the building, like a dome. Inside it, people screamed as the air shimmered. The field was tuned. The same kind of wrong energy as the smoke from before. Superman felt it from 10 feet away. His body reacted like he had stepped close to a sun that wasn't his. Bucky swore under his breath. "There it is." Superman's eyes narrowed. He could punch through the dome. He could also send a shockwave through the shelter. So he didn't punch. He placed both palms against the field and pushed slowly. His muscles didn't strain from weight. They strained from rules. The field pressed back like a stubborn lock. Superman's jaw tightened. A Doombot fired at Bucky. Bucky rolled, fired back, hitting the bot's knee. It fell. The crowd surged again, trapped between fear and the dome. Superman spoke through clenched teeth, low. "Evacuate the lot," he told Bucky. Bucky snapped. "I'm not leaving you." Superman's eyes flicked to him. "That's an order," Superman said. And it wasn't rude. It was urgent. Bucky hesitated for half a second, then moved, barking at volunteers to pull people back. Superman focused on the dome. He inhaled. He listened. He heard the heartbeats inside. Fast. Panicked, but alive. He narrowed his heat vision to a line so thin it was almost nothing. He aimed at the field's anchor points, small nodes hidden at the base. He fired. The nodes sparked, but the field held. Doom had built a backup. Superman clenched his fists again. Then he did something Reed would have respected. He changed the approach. Instead of breaking the lock, he removed the door frame. Superman launched upward, grabbed the shelter roof and lifted. Not ripping, not tearing. Lifting the entire building a few inches. Just enough to pull the anchor nodes free of the ground. The dome flickered. The crowd gasped. The shelter rose like it weighed nothing. Superman held it steady, muscles locked in perfect control. Then the dome collapsed. The anchor nodes sparked and died. Superman lowered the shelter back down as gently as placing a glass on a table. Inside, people stumbled, shocked, but alive. Outside, the crowd went silent. For one breath, they saw the truth. He could have shattered everything. He chose not to. Doom's voice cut in, cold. "Very good," Doom said. "You are careful." The broadcast shut off. The remaining Doombots retreated, stepping backward into holes in the street that closed behind them, like the ground swallowed them. Superman stood still in the lot, looking at the place where they had vanished. Bucky returned to his side, breathing hard. He looked at Superman like he was trying to understand a different kind of strength. "You lifted a building," Bucky said. Superman's voice was quiet. "I didn't have a choice," he said. Bucky shook his head once. "You had a lot of choices," Bucky said. "You picked the one that didn't kill anyone." Superman looked at him. "That's the only one that matters," Superman said. Bucky stared back. Then, grudgingly, he nodded. Across the city, Sam's comms crackled with updates from the bridge and hospital. Thor had thrown lightning into the river to stop a collapsing support without frying anyone. Sue had sealed a hospital wing with a force field and walked patients out in calm lines. They had saved people, but Doom had gotten what he wanted anyway. He had forced the world to watch. He had forced questions, and he had shown he could touch civilians whenever he felt like it. On the ride back, Sam's voice came through in Superman's ear. "We did good," Sam said. Superman stared out at the skyline. His voice was low. "We survived the test," he said. Sam paused. "And?" Superman's jaw tightened. "And he's not done testing," Superman said. By the time night fell, the facility felt less like a home and more like a courtroom. The delegation demanded meetings. The media camped outside. Rumors spread online like fire. Some people drew Superman's symbol on walls. Some people drew it with a red X through it. Inside, Reed and Shuri worked like they were trying to race a clock that only Doom could see. They studied the green field energy. They studied the smoke. They studied the sample Doom had taken, trying to guess what he could build from it. Bucky sat with a notebook, sketching a simple list. Weaknesses, counters, angles. Sam didn't like seeing it. He also didn't stop him. Sue sat beside Sam for a moment in the hallway, voice soft. "You're tired," she said. Sam looked down at his hands. "I'm thinking," he said. Sue nodded toward a closed door. "He's thinking too," she said. Sam didn't need to ask who she meant. Behind the door, Superman sat alone, not because they told him to, because he chose quiet when he needed to stay steady. Sam finally opened the door and stepped inside. Superman sat at a small table with a pen and paper. It looked strange in his hands, like a man who could lift the world choosing something small on purpose. He was writing names. Sam recognized some from the reports. People from the shelter, a volunteer, a kid, an elderly man who had tripped. Superman didn't look up at first. "I'm fine," he said. Sam leaned on the wall. "I didn't ask," Sam said. Superman's pen paused. He looked up then, eyes tired. Sam gestured at the paper. "You always do that?" Sam asked. Superman nodded. "If I don't," he said, "they become numbers." Sam stepped closer. "Doom wants you to feel like you can't save everyone," Sam said. Superman's jaw tightened. "He's right," Superman said, quiet. Sam didn't argue. He just said, "And you still show up." Superman looked down at his list again. "Because if I stop showing up," he said, "then Doom wins twice." Sam nodded slowly. "We're not letting that happen," Sam said. Superman looked up. "Then we need to stop reacting," Superman said. "We need to find him." Sam's brows rose. "We've been trying," Sam said. Superman's voice stayed steady. "Not like this," he said. "Not from screens and satellites." He tapped the paper. "I'm a reporter," he said. "I know how to follow people who hide behind systems. You talk to the people who get touched first." Sam blinked. "You want to do interviews?" Superman nodded. "I want to understand the pattern," he said. "Not just the tech, the choices." Sam's mouth quirked a little. "That might be the most normal thing anyone has said in this building all day," Sam said. Superman's eyes softened just a bit. "Normal keeps me steady," he said. Sam exhaled. "Okay," Sam said, "but you don't go alone." Superman hesitated. Then he nodded. "Fine," he said, but his tone said he didn't love it. Sam's comms buzzed again. He listened, face tightening. Reed's voice came through. "Sam," Reed said, "we traced part of the broadcast route. It bounced through a diplomatic relay." Sam's stomach sank. "Where?" Reed paused, then said it. "Latverian channels," Reed said. Sam looked at Superman. Superman's eyes narrowed. "Latveria," he repeated, as if the name itself sounded like a problem. Sam nodded. "It's a problem," Sam said. "And Doom knows we know." Superman stood, calm but ready. "Then we move," Superman said. Sam held up a hand. "Tomorrow," Sam said, "we move smart." Superman stared at him for a beat. Then, instead of arguing, he nodded once. Doom had forced the world to watch. Now they would force Doom to be found. The next day started with a small fight that had nothing to do with lasers or magic. It was a badge. Shuri held out a slim access card. It had a clean photo, a name, a clearance level. Superman. Temporary access. Escort required. Superman stared at it like it was a joke. Scott, standing behind Shuri, tried not to laugh and failed. Superman looked at Sam. "Escort required?" he asked. Sam cleared his throat. "It's policy," Sam said. Superman's eyes narrowed. "I can hear the whole building," Superman said. "I could find any room with my eyes closed." Reed raised a hand. "We know," Reed said. "The point is not capability. The point is procedure." Superman's gaze flicked to Reed. "Procedure makes people feel safe," Superman said. Reed nodded. "Yes," Reed said. "And it also keeps Doom from saying we're hiding you like a weapon." Superman held the badge between two fingers like it might stain him. Then he sighed and clipped it to his belt. "Fine," Superman said. "But if a kid is falling off a bridge and my escort is stuck in traffic, I'm not waiting for a stamp." Scott nodded very fast. "Correct," Scott said. "Please don't wait for stamps." Bucky stepped into view, already geared up. "I'm the escort," he said. Superman stared at him. "Of course you are," Superman said. Bucky's face didn't change. "Move," Bucky said. Sam watched them go and muttered under his breath, "This is going to be the weirdest buddy cop story in history." Loki, passing by like a shadow with a smirk, murmured, "Oh, it already is." Superman did not go to a war room first. He went to a shelter, not the one that had been attacked. A different one, smaller, quieter. A place with tired staff and donated blankets and walls full of hand-drawn pictures. He walked in wearing plain clothes over his suit, a jacket, a hat, glasses that were almost silly for a man who could see through buildings. Bucky walked in behind him and looked around like every corner could contain a sniper. A volunteer stepped forward, suspicious at first. Superman smiled, gentle. "I'm here to ask questions," he said. I'm trying to find who hurt people yesterday. The volunteer blinked. Are you? Superman didn't correct him. He just nodded once. Politely. The volunteer swallowed, then nodded back. Okay, she said. Okay, I'll talk. For the next hour, Superman did what he normally did in his life, even in a different universe. He listened. He asked simple questions. Who was the first person to shout? Where did the explosions start? Did anyone see a symbol? A color? A sound? He didn't ask like a detective trying to win. He asked like a man trying to protect. People responded to that. They told him about the men in caps, the way they pushed panic, the way some screams felt two-timed. Superman's eyes narrowed. Did they have accents? He asked. The volunteer shook her head. They didn't talk much, she said. They had earpieces. Bucky muttered, trained. Superman nodded, then turned to a wall where a child's drawing was taped up. It showed a big red and blue figure holding up a building. The figure had a smile drawn too large, and in the corner, a green mask with angry eyes. Superman stared at it for a long second. Bucky watched him. You okay? Bucky asked, rough and awkward, like the words didn't fit him. Superman's voice came quiet. He's teaching kids to fear, Superman said. Bucky's jaw clenched. Yeah, Bucky said. That's what guys like him do. Superman turned back to the volunteer. Thank you, he said. You did the right thing. As they stepped outside, Shuri's voice came through comms. We got confirmation, she said. Latverian diplomatic shipment arrived at the embassy this morning. Heavy crates, shielded. Bucky's eyes sharpened. Embassy, he said. Superman looked up toward the skyline. Doom is hiding behind rules, Superman said. Bucky snorted. Welcome to Earth, he said. Superman's gaze hardened. Then we use the rules, Superman said. Bucky stared at him. We? Bucky asked. Superman looked at him. You're my escort, Superman said, deadpan. Bucky's mouth twitched, almost a smile, then disappeared. Let's go, Bucky said. The Latverian embassy looked like a place built to be watched. High walls, clean stone, guards who stood too straight. A flag that didn't move much, even in the wind. Sam, Reed, and Sue arrived with official clearance and cameras behind them. They walked in like diplomats, because sometimes that was the only way to step through a door. Thor stayed on a nearby rooftop, hidden poorly, because Thor did not understand subtlety and did not care. Shuri stayed remote, watching the embassy systems like a hawk. Scott was on comms, ready to shrink into vents if needed, whispering, I love vents, like a man who had made peace with Tiwan his life. Superman entered last, behind Sam, wearing plain clothes again with the badge clipped to his belt. Escort required. Bucky walked at his side. The Latverian representative greeted them with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Captain Wilson, the man said warmly, we welcome you. We heard there was excitement in your city. Sam's voice stayed polite. There was, Sam said, and we traced illegal broadcast interference to Latverian relays. The man's smile stayed fixed. Latveria is a peaceful nation, he said. We interfere with no one. Reed's eyes flicked over the room. Then you won't mind an inspection, Reed said. The representative's smile tightened. Diplomatic immunity. Sue's voice cut through, calm and sharp. If your building is being used to launch attacks, Sue said, immunity will not protect you from consequences. The representative glanced past them. His eyes landed on Superman. His smile vanished for a half-second. Then it returned, but thinner. And who is this? He asked. Superman stepped forward slightly. A concerned citizen, he said. The representative stared at the glasses. Then, very carefully, he said, You look familiar. Bucky's hand hovered near his weapon. Sam's eyes narrowed. We're not here for introductions, Sam said. We're here for answers. They were led through halls with paintings and polished floors. Everything looked too perfect, like it had been cleaned to hide something. Superman listened as they walked. He heard heartbeats. He heard breathing. He heard one heartbeat that didn't match the calm. Fast. Excited. Waiting. He stopped. Bucky stopped with him. What? Bucky asked. Superman's eyes moved to a wall panel. Behind there, Superman said quietly. Bucky's gaze sharpened. He glanced at Sam. giving a small signal. Sam paused the group. "We need a moment," Sam said, polite but firm. The representative's jaw tightened. "There is no need." Sue lifted a hand. A force field shimmered into place across the hallway behind them, blocking the guards from stepping closer. "Now," Sue said, still polite. "We have a moment." Reed stepped toward the panel, stretching his fingers into a thin shape, slipping them into the seam. He pulled. The panel came free. Behind it was not wiring. It was a narrow shaft, and inside, a machine sat like a spider, folded tight, waiting. A Doombot scout. It sprang. Superman moved. He caught it midair and crushed its core with a quick squeeze. The embassy lights flickered once. Then all the doors slammed shut at once. A calm voice filled the hall, not from speakers, but from everywhere. "Such manners," Doom said. Sam's blood went cold. The representative stepped back fast, no longer pretending. He spoke into his sleeve, rapid and urgent. Bucky's eyes narrowed. "He's in on it," Bucky said. Doom's voice continued, smooth. "You walk into my rooms," Doom said. "You touch my walls, and you act surprised when the walls answer." Shuri's voice snapped in Sam's ear. "He just took control of the embassy grid," she said. "It's locked down." Reed's face tightened. "He built a trap inside a sovereign building," Reed said. "That's bold." Doom chuckled. "Sovereignty is a tool," Doom said. "Like all things." Superman stepped forward. "Stop hiding," Superman said, voice low. "Face us." Doom's voice softened. "I am facing you," Doom said. "I am simply not wasting my time on your preferred stage." Then the floor shook. A green glow spread under the tiles, racing like a circuit turning on. Sue's eyes widened. "Force field!" she snapped. She threw a barrier around the team, just as the air in the hallway warped. A pressure hit them, like gravity had changed direction. The walls groaned. Glass shattered somewhere above, and the embassy itself began to shift. Not physically collapsing, twisting, as if the building was being folded in on itself by a rule that wasn't supposed to exist here. Reed's voice went tight. "He's using a space warp," Reed said. "Tech plus magic," Superman finished. The green field pulsed. Superman felt it immediately. Not pain, not weakness, a resistance. Like his body was trying to run, and the air was trying to hold him. Doom's voice came again, soft like a lesson. "Here is the truth," Doom said. "Your strength is impressive. Your speed is obscene. And still, you require a world that allows you to move." Superman's jaw clenched. Doom continued. "So I changed the world." The hallway split, not with a crack, with a clean seam of light. A thin tear opened in the air, small but sharp, like the sky cut from the first night, but tighter, controlled. Cold wind poured out. Wrong wind, smelling like nothing on Earth. Reed's eyes went wide. "He's opening a breach," Reed said. "A small one." Shuri's voice shook, just a little. "He's testing the device output," she said. "He's using the embassy as a cover." Thor's voice boomed through comms from the rooftop. "I see the sky change," Thor shouted. "It smells like war." Scott's voice came quick. "That's not a smell, Thor." Superman stared at the tear. He could hear something beyond it. Not words. A pressure. Like a storm on the other side pushing its face against a door. Sue's barrier held, but it trembled. Sam's voice stayed steady. "We shut it down," Sam said. Reed's eyes scanned the hallway. "There will be an anchor," Reed said. "A core." Bucky's gaze flicked to the representative, who was backing away, trying to slip through a side door. Bucky moved and slammed him into the wall with his metal arm. "Where's the core?" Bucky demanded. The representative spat. "You can't." Sue's force field tightened slightly around his wrist, not hurting, just making escape impossible. Sam leaned in. "Where?" Sam repeated, quiet and deadly. The representative's eyes flicked to Superman, fear breaking through his training. He whispered, "Basement." Superman didn't wait. He shot downward through the floor, careful, controlled, opening a clean hole with heat vision first, then dropping through without collapsing the building. Bucky grabbed Sam's arm. "He went alone," Bucky snapped. Sam's face tightened. "He can handle it," Sam said. Bucky didn't look convinced. "That's not the point," Bucky said. Sue's barrier widened. "We follow," she said. Reed stretched his body into the opening, pulling the team through. Below, the embassy basement was not a basement. It was a lab. Green lights, metal circles carved into stone, cables running into a machine that hummed like a living thing. And in the center, a core device pulsed. It looked like a cousin of the thing Reed and Shuri had locked away. Smaller, rougher, but real. Superman stood in front of it, eyes narrowed. The green field around him made the air heavy, but he stood like it didn't matter. He reached for the core. Magic circles flared. Invisible chains snapped around his wrists again, trying to hold. Superman's jaw tightened. He pulled anyway. The chains held, not because he lacked strength, because they weren't made to be broken by strength. Doom's voice came down into the lab like a judge. "There you are," Doom said. "At the heart of it." Superman's eyes lifted toward a camera hidden in the corner. "Let them go," Superman said. "Stop using people." Doom chuckled. "I am not using people," Doom said. "I am saving them from chaos. Chaos like you." Superman's voice stayed calm, but steel ran under it. "You're lying," Superman said. Doom's voice softened. "Am I?" Doom asked. "Your arrival caused fear. Fear causes violence. Violence causes death. I offer the cure." The team poured into the lab behind Superman. Sue threw a barrier around the core to stabilize the area. Reed reached for cables to cut. Shuri's voice came through comms. "If you sever the wrong line, it could surge," she warned. Sam stepped forward, shield up. "Doom," Sam said, voice loud. "You want a stage? Here it is. Come fight us." Doom's laugh was quiet. "Fight?" Doom said. "No." The core pulsed. The tear above the embassy widened. Sue's barrier trembled harder. Reed's face tightened. "It's escalating," he said. Superman clenched his fists against the chains, muscles locked. He looked at Sam, then Sue, then Reed. He made a choice in half a second. He stopped pulling on the core. Instead, he stepped in front of Sue's barrier and placed both hands against it. Sue blinked. "What are you?" "I can help you hold it," Superman said. "You're shielding people. I'm shielding you." Sue swallowed, then nodded. "Okay," she said. They held together. The pressure from the tier pushed down. Sue's force field bent. Superman pushed back, not by brute force, but by lending stability, holding the barrier steady like a brace. Reed worked fast, cutting cables one by one with careful tools. Sam and Bucky guarded the room, taking out Doombots that rose from the hidden panels. Scott shrank and ran along the core's housing, yanking out tiny components, shouting, "I am doing surgery on a demon toaster." Doom's voice stayed calm through it all. "Look at you," Doom said. "So brave, so united." His voice sharpened. "And still, you are reacting." Shuri's voice came quick. "He's not just opening one tier," she said. "He's pinging the same signal out. He's testing the world." Reed's eyes widened. "He's mapping responses," Reed said again, but now it sounded worse. "He's learning how the universe resists." Superman's face tightened. Sweat stood on his brow, not from effort, but from the pressure of holding the line while knowing Doom was still winning in another way. Sam shouted, "Reed!" Reed yanked the last cable. The core sputtered. The tear above shuddered, then shrank like a closing eye. The pressure eased. Sue exhaled hard, knees bending a little. Superman steadied her without touching her, hands still braced against the barrier, until she nodded. She was okay. The core went dark. The embassy lights flickered back to normal. For 1 second, it felt like victory. Then Doom spoke again, softer now, almost kind. "Well done," Doom said. "You have prevented disaster." Sam's voice was harsh. "You caused it." Doom ignored that. "And now," Doom said, "you understand the truth." His voice landed on Superman. "You cannot be everywhere," Doom said. "You cannot stop every tier. You cannot hold every hand." Superman stared at the camera. His eyes burned with controlled anger. Doom continued, "So one day you will choose. You will choose what to save." He paused. "And the world will watch you choose." The broadcast cut off. Shuri's voice came through tight. "He wiped traces," she said. "But we got something." Reed looked up. "What?" Shuri's voice had a strange tone now. Fear, but also certainty. "A route," Shuri said. "A pattern. He's using Latverian channels to bounce signal into old cosmic nodes, places where reality is already thin. Sue's face tightened. He's building a network, Sue said. Reed swallowed. A doomsday network, Reed said. Sam looked at Superman. Superman's jaw was clenched. His eyes were steady. He wants to make reality obey him, Superman said. Bucky stepped closer, voice low. And he wants to make you look like the reason we needed him, Bucky said. Superman didn't deny it. He looked at the dark core, then at the hole in the wall where they had entered. His voice came quiet. Now it's personal, Superman said. And in that moment, everyone in the room understood something simple and scary. Doom was not just playing with tech. He was playing with trust. And the next move would hurt more than any punch. Days later, the city tried to turn Superman into a routine. It didn't work. He still went out when alarms rang. He still brought people out of fires with gentle hands. He still stopped car crashes without breaking bumpers. He still caught falling workers on scaffolds like it was normal. But everywhere he went, there were cameras. And everywhere there were cameras, there were questions. Some were kind. Some were cruel. Some were bait. Superman learned quickly that in this world, saving someone could still end with someone shouting at you to go home. He didn't shout back. He just kept saving. Still, something in him tightened each day. Not anger, pressure, because he could hear it. The city's fear, the city's hope, and the sharp, quiet excitement of people who wanted him to fail so they could feel right. One evening, he stood on a roof alone, listening to distant sirens. Sam landed nearby, wings folding. Sam didn't speak right away. Superman didn't either. Finally, Sam said, Reed and Shuri found more nodes. Superman nodded once. He's going to try again, Superman said. Sam's voice was careful. And the government is pushing harder, Sam said. They want you in a program. Superman's jaw tightened. A cage with friendly paint, he said. Sam exhaled. Yeah, Sam admitted. Superman looked out at the city lights. I won't disappear, he said. I won't hide. Doom wants that. Sam nodded. Then we keep you visible, Sam said. But we keep you smart. Superman turned his head slightly. Smart means what? He asked. Sam's mouth tightened. It means we don't let Doom pick the places, Sam said. Superman's eyes narrowed. He already did, Superman said, thinking of the shelter and the embassy. Sam stepped closer. Then we pick the next place, Sam said. Superman stared at him. Then, slowly, he nodded, and he said something that sounded almost simple, but meant everything. Then I go as Clark, Superman said. Sam blinked. You mean? I talk to people, Superman said. Without a cape, without cameras chasing me. I find what Doom is building before he turns it on. Sam hesitated, then nodded. Okay, Sam said. But you still don't go alone. Superman's mouth quirked slightly. Escort required, he said. Sam almost smiled. Yeah, Sam said. Escort required. The next morning, Clark Kent walked into a small cafe near a bus station with a notebook in his pocket and glasses on his face. His badge was hidden under his jacket. He looked like a tired man trying to do his job. He ordered nothing. He just sat where he could see the door and listened. Across the street, a man in a cap talked into his sleeve. Clark's eyes sharpened. Bucky sat 2 tables away, pretending he wasn't watching. Failing at pretending because Bucky never stopped watching. Clark scribbled in his notebook. He didn't need super hearing to know something was wrong, but he used it anyway. He caught phrases. Node, tonight, bridge, second wave, mask wants it clean. Clark's hand tightened around the pen. Bucky's gaze flicked to him, questioning. Clark gave a tiny nod. They had a lead. And leads, Clark knew, were how you beat people who thought they could control the whole board. He stood, calm, and walked out like he hadn't just heard a plan to tear reality open. Bucky followed, silent. As they stepped into the street, Clark's comms buzzed. Shuri's voice came through, sharp. We just got movement at one of the thin spots, she said. It's starting. Clark's eyes lifted to the sky, even though the sky looked normal. He could feel the pressure anyway. Bucky muttered, Here we go. Clark's voice was low. Call Sam, he said. Tell him Doom made his next move. Bucky didn't argue. He just moved. Clark looked at the people on the sidewalk. Kids with backpacks, a woman pushing a stroller, a man dragging a suitcase. He felt the old familiar pull in his chest. Save them all. Always. He also felt the new truth Doom had been forcing into him. You can't be everywhere. Clark's jaw tightened. He chose. He stepped into an alley, pulled his jacket open, and in a blur, the cape was there again. Superman rose into the air, not like a god showing off, like a man going to work. And somewhere far away, Doom watched the signal spike and whispered to himself, pleased. Good, Doom murmured. Chase it. Because Doom was already moving on the next part. The part that would hurt. The part that would make the world decide what Superman was. And the part that would make Superman decide what kind of hero he could be in a universe that kept asking him to prove it. 2 weeks after the sky first tore open, New York had learned how to live with a new kind of rumor. Some people wore shirts with a red and yellow symbol they had only seen on shaky videos. Some people wrote angry posts saying the alien was a trap. Some people did both, depending on the day. Superman learned something else. In this world, fear had paperwork. He stood in a bright hallway with a clipboard in his hand, reading a form that was longer than some books. The words were polite. The meaning was not. Reed Richards waited nearby with a tired look. Shuri leaned against a wall, arms folded, like she was personally offended by the whole thing. Sam Wilson stood in front of them, calm and patient, like he was trying to stop a small fire with his hands. Bucky Barnes watched the door. He watched the ceiling. He watched Superman's pen like it was a weapon. Scott Lang sat in a chair with a snack-sized bag of pretzels and a face that said he had given up on the world making sense. Superman flipped the page. Then another. Then another. He looked at Sam. This says, I'm not allowed to respond to emergencies without approval, he said. Sam rubbed his forehead. It's a draft, Sam said. Superman pointed at the bottom. It has a signature line, he said. Shuri stepped forward and plucked the clipboard from his hand. You will not sign that, she said. Her voice was calm, but it sounded like a door locking. They want control. They can control themselves. Scott raised his hand. I would also like to not be controlled, he said. Just for the record. Bucky muttered. You're controlled by pretzels. Scott stared at him. This is a medical need, Scott said. Stress carbs. Superman exhaled slowly and set his hands at his sides. He was trying to be polite. He was trying to respect their systems. He was also trying not to feel like a weapon on a leash. Sam stepped closer. We're working on a better deal, Sam said. One that keeps people safe without trapping you. Superman's eyes held Sam's. People are already safe when I show up, he said quietly. Reed's voice cut in, gentle but firm. And Doom is already using that against you, Reed said. He wants the world to think you are the problem, so his control feels like the cure. Superman nodded once. His jaw tightened. I know. He left the hallway a minute later. Not angry, just heavy. He went where he always went when the world got loud. A roof. Up there. Wind pushed against his cape. The city spread out below like a living map. He could hear everything if he let himself. He did not let himself. He chose one sound at a time. A siren in the distance. A train on tracks. A kid laughing. A dog barking. Then, beneath all of it, a thin pressure in the air that didn't belong. Reality thinning. A tear that wanted to happen. He didn't need a screen to tell him. He could feel it like a sore spot. Behind him, Sam landed softly and folded his wings. Sam didn't speak right away. He just stood beside Superman and looked out at the city too. After a moment, Sam said, Reed and Shuri found the next nodes. Superman didn't look surprised. Doom is building a net, he said. He wants to pull the world into shape. Sam nodded. He's also sending messages, Sam said. Superman turned his head slightly. Public ones? Sam's mouth tightened. Private, he said. To you. Superman's eyes narrowed. How? Sam held up a small device, sealed in a clear case. It was a metal chip with a green symbol etched into it. Dropped by a Doombot, Sam said. No signal, no broadcast, just a thing. Superman stared at it. A letter, he said. Reed's voice came through Superman's earpiece, calm and sharp at the same time. "We scanned it," Reed said. "It's safe to open. Safe-ish." Scott's voice jumped in right after. "Nothing with Doom is safe-ish. That's not a real category." Shuri's voice followed, annoyed. "Scott, please, let adults speak." Scott protested. "I am an adult." Bucky's voice cut in, flat. "Barely." Superman's mouth twitched for half a second. The smallest hint of humor. Then it vanished, because the chip mattered. He took it from Sam, looked it over, then crushed the clear case with careful fingers and held the chip up to the sunlight. The green symbol flashed once, like it woke up. A small hologram rose above Superman's palm. Dr. Doom's mask, perfect and still. Doom's voice was quiet and close, as if he was speaking only to Superman. "Kal-El," Doom said. Superman stiffened, his eyes sharpened. Sam's face tightened. "He knows your name," Sam said, low. Superman didn't answer. He stared at the mask. Doom continued, "You do not belong here, and yet you have already changed this world." The hologram didn't move. It didn't need to. "You save lives," Doom said. "You move faster than a bullet. You lift buildings like toys. You refuse to kill, even when it would be efficient." Superman's jaw clenched. "And still," Doom said, "the tears grow. The thin places spread. The multiverse does not care about your morals." Sam's hands curled into fists. "He's trying to scare you," Sam said. Doom's voice softened. "I am trying to help you," he said. "I can stop the tears. I can seal the weak points. I can prevent the coming collapse." Superman's eyes narrowed. "With control," he muttered. Doom continued as if he heard him anyway. "Meet me," Doom said. "Not as enemies, not as symbols, as men who can actually fix the problem." A pause. "Bring your Avengers if you must," Doom said. "But understand this. They will argue. They will vote. They will hesitate." Doom's voice sharpened slightly. "I will act." The hologram flickered. "One location," Doom said. 1 hour after sunset. You will recognize it. It is where the air already hurts." The hologram vanished. Superman's palm closed, empty now. Sam stared at him. "We're not walking into a Doom meeting," Sam said. Superman looked out at the city again. His voice was steady. "We can't ignore it," he said. Sam's tone stayed firm. "We also can't let him isolate you," Sam said. Superman nodded once. "He won't," he said. His eyes moved, unfocusing as he listened. Not to words, but to the world. Then he pointed. "Rikers," Superman said. Sam blinked. "The island?" Superman nodded. "The air is wrong there," he said. "Thin, like the embassy tear, but deeper." Reed's voice came through again, urgent now. "That matches the map," Reed said. "One of our nodes is near there. It's under the waterline." Shuri's voice was sharp. "He picked a place with civilians nearby, but not too many," she said. "He wants a clean stage." Scott's voice came small. "I hate clean stages." Bucky's voice came low. "It's a trap," he said. Superman turned his head. "Yes," he said simply. "So we go prepared." Sam exhaled hard. "Okay," Sam said. "We go prepared. And we go together." Superman nodded. "Together," he agreed. He looked at Sam again. "But Sam," he said, quiet, "if he offers me something that sounds good, I need you to remind me what it costs." Sam's face softened for a second. "I will," Sam said. Superman nodded once, like he was making a promise to himself. Then he rose into the air and flew toward the facility, fast but controlled, because there was still time before sunset, and their best chance was planning. In the hours before the meeting, Reed and Shuri built something small that might matter. Not a weapon, a shield. Reed held a thin, bracelet-like device, simple and gray, with tiny panels along its surface. "It won't make you weak," Reed said to Superman. "It won't drain you. It's a filter." Superman looked at it. "Filter for what?" he asked. Shuri answered, impatient as always. "For the tuned field," she said. "The green haze, the static effect. It won't stop it fully, but it might stop the worst of it." Superman took it carefully. "So I can move," he said. Reed nodded. "So you can move when Doom tries to change the rules," Reed said. Sue stepped in, eyes on Superman. "And we have a second layer," she said. Superman raised an eyebrow. Sue lifted her hand and formed a small force field bubble around his wrist, then let it fade. If he binds you again, she said, I can give you space. I can make a pocket around you so the magic pressure has to push through something. Superman nodded slowly. Thank you, he said. Bucky watched the whole thing like he didn't trust gifts. Then, unexpectedly, he stepped forward and handed Superman a folded piece of paper. Superman looked down. What is this? He asked. Bucky's voice was rough. A map, he said. Routes, evac lines. If it goes bad, if you need to move people fast. Superman unfolded it. It was neat, practical. It had arrows and short notes. Superman looked up at Bucky. You made this, he said. Bucky shrugged. I plan, he said. Superman nodded once. Good, he said. Keep planning. Bucky blinked at that, like he had expected a fight, not approval. Scott bounced on his heels. Do I have a job? He asked. Sam pointed at him. You, Sam said, are our emergency wrench. Scott grinned. Yes, he said, then paused. What does that mean? Shuri sighed. It means you break the parts we can't reach, she said. Scott nodded like he understood everything. I was born for this, he said. Loki appeared in the doorway like he had always been there. And I? Loki asked. Sam eyed him. You're here because you want to be, Sam said. So be useful. Loki smiled. I am always useful, he said. Thor stepped forward and slapped Superman on the shoulder hard enough to dent steel, but Superman didn't move. Thor grinned. If Doom speaks too much, Thor said, I will hit him. Superman's eyes flicked to Sam, then back to Thor. Try not to hit him while he's hiding behind people, Superman said. Thor's grin faded into a serious nod. Agreed, Thor said. Sam took a breath and looked at everyone. We have one rule, Sam said. Civilians first, always. Superman nodded immediately. Always, he repeated. And just like that, the plan was simple. Not easy. Simple. An hour after sunset, the water around Riker's Island looked black and thick. The city lights reflected off it in broken pieces. Above the water, the air shimmered. Not like heat, like a thin sheet of glass was being pulled tight. Superman hovered over the shoreline, eyes narrowed. He could feel it clearly now, the sore spot in reality. Sam flew beside him. Sue floated in a small platform device Reed had built, her eyes scanning. Thor hovered with lightning dancing faintly around his hands, eager but controlled. Scott rode in a small drone carrier, strapped in and grinning like this was a roller coaster. Bucky moved along a lower approach route, quiet and ready. Reed and Shuri stayed remote, but their voices were in their ears. Loki came too, because Loki never missed a chance to watch someone else's pride crack. On the far end of the island, an old concrete platform stood near the water, half abandoned. The kind of place you could turn into anything if you had money and no morals. Green lights glowed along the platform in a clean line. A circle of symbols burned on the concrete, carved deep and shining faintly. And in the center stood Dr. Doom, in full armor, cloak moving in the wind, mask calm as stone. He raised one hand, palm up, like he was welcoming them into his home. Superman came down first, landing lightly on the platform. He didn't rush, he didn't posture. He stood tall, cape settling behind him, eyes fixed on Doom. Sam landed a few steps to Superman's left. Thor landed to his right. Sue and Bucky took positions with clear lines to the civilians' areas on the island. Scott's drone set him down and flew away. Scott stretched his arms like he was warming up. Loki leaned against a post like this was theater. Doom spoke, his voice calm and smooth. You came, Doom said. Superman's voice was firm. You threatened the city, Superman said. So yes. Doom tilted his head slightly. I offered you help, Doom corrected. Sam stepped forward, shield raised just a little. You hijacked broadcasts, Sam said. You staged attacks. You used shelters. Doom's mask didn't change. And yet, Doom said, you saved them. The world watched you save them. He turned his mask toward Superman again. And the world watched you become the center, Doom said. Tell me, Superman, do you enjoy it? Superman's jaw tightened. No, he said. Doom chuckled softly. Good, Doom said. Then you understand the burden. He lifted both hands slightly. The air shimmered harder. The green symbols around the circle brightened. Reed's voice snapped in Superman's ear. "He's charging," Reed said. "He's tying into the node network." Shuri's voice was tight. "We're seeing multiple points spike," she said. "He's not doing one tear. He's doing several." Sue's voice was calm but urgent. "He's using the island as the anchor," she said. Superman stared at Doom. "Stop," Superman said. Doom's voice softened. "I can stop it," Doom said. "That is the point." He took a step closer, boots ringing against concrete. "The multiverse strains," Doom said. "These tears will grow. They will swallow pieces of your world. People will die in ways you cannot punch." Superman didn't blink. "So you caused them," Superman said. Doom's voice sharpened. "No," Doom said. "I revealed them. There is a difference." Then Doom did something that made Sam's stomach twist. He lowered his hands. He stopped the charging. For 1 second, the pressure eased, as if Doom was showing he really could turn it off. Doom spoke again, quieter now. "I can seal the weak points," Doom said. "I can lock the doors." He leaned in just slightly. "And I can give you what you want," Doom said. "A world where no child screams at night because monsters come from the sky. A world where shelters do not get attacked. A world where you do not have to write names on paper because the names do not end." Superman's eyes tightened. He didn't look tempted by power. He looked tempted by relief. Sam saw it. Just a flicker, like a muscle twitch. Doom watched it too. "You feel it," Doom said. "You feel every heartbeat, every fear. It is exhausting." Superman's hands curled into fists, then relaxed again. He kept his voice steady. "And your answer is control," he said. Doom's voice turned confident. "Order," Doom corrected. Thor snorted. "Tyranny," Thor said. Doom ignored Thor like he was an insect. He looked only at Superman. "Join me," Doom said. "Not as my servant, as my equal. Together, we end the chaos." Superman stared at him, silent. Doom's voice became almost gentle. "You cannot be everywhere," Doom said. "But I can make it so you do not need to be." Sam stepped closer, voice low but clear. "Clark," Sam said. Superman's eyes flicked to him. Sam held his gaze. "What's the cost?" Sam asked. Superman swallowed once. He turned back to Doom. "My answer is no," Superman said. Doom's mask stayed still. For a breath, it seemed like the world paused. Then Doom's voice turned cold. "Then you will learn," Doom said, "what your morals cost." He snapped his fingers. The platform symbols flared. Green light shot outward across the water like a wave. Far away, over the city, the sky flashed. Superman's head snapped up. He could feel it. Multiple thin spots waking up at once. Tears beginning. Not full openings yet. Tests. A net tightening. Shuri's voice came fast. "It's happening," she said. 3 spikes. No, 4. Reed's voice was tight. "He's splitting your attention," Reed said. "He wants you to leave." Doom raised his hands again, slowly, like a conductor. "You will run," Doom said to Superman. "You will chase the screams. And while you run, I will finish the lock." Superman's eyes burned. He could hear distant panic starting already. He took a half step. Sam put a hand out, not grabbing, just present. "Together," Sam said. Superman breathed hard through his nose. He forced himself to stay. He looked at Doom. "You don't get to choose for them," Superman said. Doom's voice was flat. "They will beg me to," Doom said. Then Doom attacked. Not with a punch, with the world. The air thickened around Superman like the green haze, but stronger. The tuned static hit his body, trying to slow his muscles. Superman's bracelet device warmed and hummed. The pressure eased a little. Not gone, but manageable. Doom's hands traced a shape in the air. Chains of light snapped around Superman's arms again. Superman's eyes narrowed. Sue shouted, "Now!" A force field bubble snapped around Superman's upper body like a clear shell. It didn't break the chains, but it gave Superman a pocket of space where the pressure couldn't squeeze as hard. Superman pulled. The chains fought him. Magic didn't care about strength. So Superman did something else. He used speed. Even slowed, he was still fast enough to blur. He twisted his wrists, not to break the chains, but to slip their angles. to change how they held him. He moved like a fighter, not just a strong man. The chains loosened slightly. Thor crashed into Doom's circle, lightning roaring. Doom raised one arm and caught the lightning on a green shield that flared like a wall. The blast lit up the island. Doom didn't move back. He just turned his mask toward Thor and said, calm, predictable. Doombots rose from hidden panels along the platform edges, marching out in clean lines. Some carried weapons. Some carried small devices that glowed green. Sam ran to meet them, shield up, calling orders. "Scott, take the devices!" Sam shouted. Scott shrank instantly and sprinted across the concrete like a fast bug. He zipped under a Doombot's legs, climbed a glowing device, and yanked a piece out. The device sputtered. Scott whooped, "I am disarming the evil Wi-Fi." Bucky moved along the edge, firing controlled shots into joints and sensors. He wasn't trying to win a war. He was trying to keep the platform from becoming a slaughterhouse. Sue shifted her force fields, catching stray blasts, blocking falling debris from the edge structures, keeping a clear lane open toward evacuation routes. Loki walked forward into the light as if he didn't care about danger. Doom turned his mask slightly. Doom said. "The parasite god." Loki's smile was sharp. "That is rude," Loki said, "but not inaccurate." Loki raised one hand. Illusions burst outward. Not pretty, not soft. Hard copies of the platform appeared in the air, mirrored and doubled. To a Doombot's sensors, it suddenly looked like there were 3 Supermen, 4 Sams, and a Thor standing in 2 places at once. Doombot beams fired at empty air. Loki laughed softly. "You built machines," Loki said. "You forgot to build imagination." Doom's voice stayed calm. "Imagination is for children," Doom said. Loki tilted his head. "And tyrants," Loki replied. Superman used the moment. He locked eyes on Doom and spoke through clenched teeth. "End it," Superman said. Doom's hands moved again. The sky above the platform split. A small tear opened. A thin oval of wrong light. Cold air poured out. The pressure hit everyone like a weight. Sue's barrier trembled. Sam's feet slid half an inch. Scott grabbed a post to keep from being pulled. Superman leaned into it, muscles tense. He could feel something pushing from the other side like a storm trying to break in. Reed's voice came sharp. "He's making a doorway," Reed said. "He wants to pull energy through to lock the nodes." Shuri's voice was urgent. "We need to shut the anchor devices on the platform," she said. "All of them. At once." Sam shouted. "How many?" Shuri answered fast. 6. 2 are under the circle. 4 on the edges. Bucky snapped. "I'll take edges." Scott yelled, "I'm already under a robot's butt." Sam didn't have time to reply. Superman did. He made a decision that hurt. He could chase the city spikes and save more people, right now. Or he could stop Doom's net, which would stop more danger long term. Doom was counting on him to choose wrong. Superman looked up at the tier. He listened. He heard the city spikes getting louder. He heard people starting to panic. He felt his chest pulled toward them. Then he looked at Sam, Sue, Thor, Scott, Bucky, Loki. He saw them holding the line. He chose trust. "I stay," Superman said. Doom's voice slipped in like a knife, "and they die elsewhere," Doom whispered. Superman's eyes flared red. "No," he said. He shot upward toward the tear. Not to punch it, to block it. He placed his body in front of the opening like a living door. The wrong wind hit his face. The pressure pushed against him. He pushed back. He didn't close it. He held it, like he had held the shelter dome, like he had held a building. Sue saw what he was doing and reinforced him with a wide force field plate behind him, bracing him like a wall brace. Thor threw lightning into the air around the tear, not at Superman, but at the edges of Doom's magic circle, disrupting the spell's stability. Doom's mask tilted up. For the first time, his calm looked strained. "You will break," Doom said. Superman's teeth clenched. "Then I break," he said, "and I still don't kneel." Below, Sam and Bucky pushed harder. They moved with purpose now, not just defense. Sam slammed his shield into an edge device, cracking its housing. Bucky shot the second edge device from across the platform, then ran and ripped its core out with his metal hand. Scott, tiny, crawled under the circle and found one of the anchor units. It had runes on it, Magic. And metal. Scott stared at it and whispered, "Nope." Then he pulled out a small tool and started yanking wires anyway. The unit sparked. A thin green shock hit Scott and threw him backward. He tumbled and rolled, then sprang back up, shaking his head. "Okay," Scott muttered. "That hurt my soul." He looked up at Doom's armored boots right above him. Doom didn't look down. Scott grinned. "Great," Scott whispered. "He doesn't see me." Scott grew. Not giant. Not building size. Just big enough. He rose under the circle, forcing the concrete to crack and lift, breaking the clean geometry of Doom's symbols. The runes flickered. Doom's head snapped down. "You!" Doom hissed. Scott pointed at him with both hands. "Hi," Scott said. "I'm the emergency wrench." The circle stuttered again. Loki saw the stutter and laughed. He threw a burst of magic toward the runes, not trying to overpower Doom, but to scramble his spell language like a prank. "Try spelling when someone keeps moving the letters," Loki said. Doom's voice snapped. "Silence!" A wave of green force hit Loki and slammed him into a post. Loki groaned, then smiled anyway, bleeding a little. "Ow," Loki said. "Still worth it." Superman felt the tier weaken as the anchors failed. The pressure lessened by a fraction. He pushed. His muscles locked. His cape whipped in the wind. He didn't try to close it with strength alone. He used control. Freeze breath burst from his mouth in a wide stream, not aimed at Doom, but at the tier's edge, cooling the air and slowing the unstable shimmer for one critical moment. The tier narrowed. Sue's force field tightened, shaping the space behind it. Dun. Reed's voice shouted in Superman's ear. "Now, Sam! Last anchor!" Sam sprinted across the platform and slammed his shield into the final device, the one half hidden at the circle's base. It cracked. Bucky fired once, perfect, hitting the core inside. The device died. All at once, the green glow on the platform dimmed. The tear in the sky shuddered like a door that lost its hinges. Superman pushed one last time. The tier snapped shut. The wrong wind vanished. The pressure dropped. Everyone staggered. For half a second, it felt like the whole world breathed out. Then Doom moved. He didn't scream. He didn't rage. He simply raised one hand and triggered a second plan. A small object rose from under the platform, glowing faint green, the size of a football. Reed's voice went sharp with alarm. "He had a seed core," Reed said. "A portable anchor." Shuri's voice was furious. "He planned for failure," she snapped. Of course he did. Doom stepped backward toward the water's edge, the seed core floating beside him like a loyal pet. Superman shot forward. Doom's hand lifted. A quick flash of runes hit Superman's chest like a slap. It didn't stop him. It didn't need to. It redirected him just enough that Superman's grab missed Doom by inches. Doom's cloak snapped in the wind. He looked at Superman and spoke quietly, as if only Superman could hear. "You chose trust," Doom said. "A charming weakness." Superman's eyes burned. "It's not weakness," Superman said. Doom's voice was calm. "We will see," Doom said. Then Doom stepped into a small green portal that opened behind him like a curtain. He vanished. The seed core vanished with him. The Doombots didn't fight to the end. They withdrew, dropping into hidden roots. Not because they were afraid, but because their purpose was finished. The platform fell quiet except for waves and distant sirens. Shuri's voice came through comms, breathless. "The spikes over the city," she said. "They're dropping. The net broke." Reed's voice held relief and worry at once. "We stopped the lock," Reed said. "But he took the seed." Sam lowered his shield slowly. Sue's hands shook a little, then steadied. Thor stared at the empty air where Doom had vanished. "He fled," Thor said, disgusted. Loki pushed himself up and brushed dirt from his coat, wincing. "He retreated," Loki corrected. "There is a difference. Retreat means he plans to return." Bucky walked to the edge of the platform and stared at the dark water. "And he learned," Bucky said. Superman stood still, eyes scanning the horizon, listening hard. He could still hear panic in the city, but it wasn't rising. It was settling. People were scared, but alive. He exhaled slowly. Sam stepped closer. "You stayed," Sam said. Superman looked at him. You held the line, Superman replied. Sam nodded once. We did it together, he said. Superman's voice was quiet. That's what Doom hates, he said. Sam's face tightened. And that's why he'll hit it, Sam said. Superman didn't deny it. He looked toward the city, then toward the sky, then back to the team. We need to talk to the world, Superman said. Bucky frowned. That's not a fight, he said. It is, Superman said. Just a different kind. The next day, the cameras came again. This time, the Avengers didn't block them. They set a place, a clean open area, a safe perimeter, security on rooftops, medics nearby. No surprises. Sam stood at the front with his shield on his arm. Sue stood beside him. Reed and Shuri stood behind a podium with screens ready, because facts mattered. Thor stood with arms crossed, looking like he was daring anyone to insult them. Scott stood a little off to the side, waving awkwardly at one cameraman he recognized from a past disaster. Bucky stood in the shadow line, watching for threats that never fully left his mind. And Superman stood in the center. No tricks, no hiding, no escort required this time, even though Superman's badge still existed, clipped inside his jacket like a joke he didn't find funny. Sam spoke first. He didn't talk like a politician. He talked like a leader who had carried people out of rubble. You saw what happened, Sam said. You saw a new hero save people. You saw a villain try to scare you. We stopped the worst of it, but the threat isn't over. A reporter shouted, "Is he alien?" Sam glanced at Superman, then back. "He's not from this world," Sam said, "but he's here, and he's choosing to help." Another reporter shouted, "Can you stop him if he turns?" Bucky's jaw tightened. Reed stepped forward, voice calm. "We are building safety protocols for everyone," Reed said, "for any enhanced person, because safety should not be a leash for one and a free pass for another." Shuri lifted her tablet. "And we will not share Doom's fear story," she said. "We share facts." Then Superman stepped forward. He didn't use a booming voice. He didn't try to sound like a god. He sounded like a person. "My name is Kal-El," he said. "I was raised on another Earth. I live as Clark Kent because I believe in being close to people. People call me Superman." The crowd murmured. Cameras zoomed in. Superman continued, simple and clear. "I can do things that scare you," he said. "I understand that. If I were you, I would have questions too." He paused. "But I am not here to rule you," he said. "I am not here to be your weapon." He looked directly at the cameras. "I am here to save lives," he said. "Even when it is hard. Even when you don't trust me yet." A reporter shouted, "What about Doom?" Superman's eyes narrowed. "Doom is using fear to sell control," Superman said. "He will promise safety and take your choices." He took a deep breath. "Hope is not control," Superman said. "Hope is work. Hope is people helping people. That is what I will do." He turned slightly and gestured to Sam, Sue, Reed, Shuri, Thor, Scott, even Bucky in the shadows. "And I won't do it alone," Superman said. The crowd felt quieter. Not fully calm, but quieter. Because even fear has to pause when someone speaks like they mean it. In a room far away, hidden behind stone and screens and candlelight, Dr. Doom watched the speech. His mask did not move, but his voice, when he finally spoke to the empty chamber, carried a calm satisfaction. "Good," Doom murmured. "He has planted hope." He held up a small glowing core in his hand, the seed he had stolen. "And I," Doom said, "will plant doubt." Weeks passed. Not enough time for the world to forget, but enough time for new routines to form. Superman's routine was not about comfort. It was about staying steady. Morning. He listened for emergencies, but he didn't chase every sound. He let the system do its job, too. He learned the difference between panic and real danger. Midday, he met with Sam and Sue and Reed. He learned their world's rules, not to obey them blindly, but to understand them. Afternoon, he became Clark Kent again, quietly, carefully, walking into shelters and clinics and neighborhoods to talk to people without a cape. And at night, when the city finally slowed, he wrote names, not because he liked pain, because he refused to forget anyone. One evening, a small package arrived at the facility. No green symbol this time. No threat. Just a plain envelope. Shuri scanned it anyway, twice, because she had learned. Inside was a plastic card. An ID. It wasn't a government card. It wasn't a weapon. It was a simple internal access badge. It read, Clark Kent, Allied Rescue Consultant. Access granted. Scott held it up like a trophy. He has a job title, Scott said. He's one of us. Superman stared at it, then looked at Sam. Rescue Consultant, he repeated. Sam shrugged. We had to call it something, Sam said. Superman's mouth twitched. I don't consult, he said. Sam's eyes softened. You do, Sam said. You just don't charge. Superman clipped the badge inside his jacket anyway. Not because he loved paperwork, because he understood what it meant. A small signal of trust. Bucky watched him do it. Then Bucky looked away, like he didn't want anyone to see that he approved. Later that night, Superman stood on the same rooftop as before. The city below was quieter now. Not safe, not perfect, but alive. Sam landed beside him. Sam didn't speak right away. Neither did Superman. Finally, Sam said, Reed says the thin spots are stable. Superman nodded. For now, he said. Sam's voice was low. And Doom? Superman stared at the sky. He's still out there, he said. And he has that seed. Sam exhaled. So this isn't over. Superman shook his head once. No, he said. Sam looked at him, careful. You regret staying? Sam asked. Superman's eyes narrowed. He thought of the city spikes. The pull, the fear. Then he shook his head again. No, he said. I chose trust. That matters. Sam nodded slowly. Good, Sam said, because the world is still deciding what you are. Superman looked down at the streets, at the moving lights, at the lives he could hear if he chose to. I don't need them to love me, Superman said. I need them to be safe. Sam's mouth tightened. And if they don't trust you? Superman's voice stayed steady. Then I earn it, he said. Sam leaned on the roof ledge. That's a lot of work, he said. Superman's eyes softened a little. I'm used to work, he said. They stood in silence for a moment. Then Sam said, You know what Doom hates most? Superman glanced at him. What? He asked. Sam nodded toward the city. That you stayed human about it, Sam said. You could be above all this, but you chose to stand in it with us. Superman looked at the city again. He thought of the shelter drawing, the green mask, the big smile. He thought of the real faces, the real fear. Then he said, quiet and clear, Hope isn't a promise. Sam waited. Superman finished, simple as a rule. Hope is what we do next,